Hi, I'm Dan, and welcome to my first reactions to Marvel's Runaways, episodes 1 through 3. They all came out together on Hulu this past week, and I'm a big fan of Marvel shows, so I wanted to check it out, and I think these are really cool. I'm going to have some light spoilers as I talk about this, but nothing too crazy. First off, I want to throw out that I have never read the comics this is based on. I've always wanted to. It seems like a really cool concept. I think now this will probably finally get me to do it. Because this is a really interesting and unique show for Marvel and for Hulu. It does a great job of melding this teen drama stuff with some more fantastical superhero stuff. It doesn't even necessarily feel like a Marvel show as much as it feels like a supernatural teen drama, but a really solid one. I think the pilot was great at handling this diverse cast of characters, bringing in sort of such a wide swath of kids, but also bringing in their parents. And I think it was really interesting how episode 2 showed you the same episode as episode 1, but from the parents' perspective. They have a big ensemble here, but they've done a good job of sort of making you care and interested about each individual. They did a really good job as far as diversity in this show. There's such a wide variety of perspectives here and potential hints at things to come. I also really like that even with the white characters, they give them something that makes them stand out a little bit as far as characters with the religious background and the abusive parenting. And everybody's sort of an underdog, and they all come together in this sort of Breakfast Club-like thing. I also like that they all have history together. They knew each other before. It's not like we're seeing all these first meetings of characters. It's more about them trying to refine their connection. And right from the get-go, there's a lot of tension and a lot of conflict within this group. And they don't even really want to be a group. And I think that once they get sort of permanently bonded together by what they see at the end of the pilot, it's going to make for a really interesting group dynamic because these people don't really fit together, but now they have to. I love Alex. I think that he's a really nice sort of emotional center for the show. I feel like that kid would have been a really good Peter Parker in another life. He has a sort of outsider feel, but he has a lot of heart. But he also has a lot to sort of inner turmoil going on, which I think really works well. And I'm really appreciating the sort of developing ship they have going on there with him and Nico. They're both sort of suffering from grief and trying to connect together over that. It's a little bit ham-fisted at first, I feel like, in the pilot, but I think they're trying to build them up in a natural way, and they're both so nervous and awkward, and it feels like a really natural connection there. So I'm really liking that. I think they're both great. The only person who sort of sticks out to me so far as me not loving them is Chase. I think he's just a little too douchey right now, and I understand that that's sort of supposed to be built into the fact of what he's dealing with his dad, that his dad seems like maybe the worst of the worst, that he was abusive and stuff like that, and that's going to be sort of something that he's working through, but he certainly feels the most cliche of the characters, and it's hard, even though he clearly has layers, he's a good guy at his heart, and he saves people, and he helps people, and that's good. But I just want a little bit less of the douchery there, because it's hard for me to root for him, especially when they're building up this sort of love triangle with him and Carolina and Gert, and it's like, they both kind of deserve better. But we'll see where that goes, and I definitely like both of those two female characters. I think Gert's particularly interesting. The actress is great. And I think that the way they're playing with the SJW aspect of it is interesting. I haven't seen that character that much in teen stuff because it's such a zeitgeisty thing of now. And the fact that they're playing with it in a way that is both sort of poking fun at it, but also introducing actual concepts that are worthwhile, I think at the same time, is an interesting dynamic. Episode 2 I did think was probably the weakest of the bunch. I think that it's kind of hard to really root for or be super invested in the parents for the most part because you just don't know where they're coming from yet. There's so much mystery steeped in their greater goals and their plans that I'm like, I don't know if I should care about you like at all, because you might just be like super evil and you might just be like a flat villain, and I don't know how to connect with you. Whereas all the kids, I feel like, are these outsiders, these underdogs. I immediately want to root for them. The one exception for me is they did really focus on Alex's parents in the episode 2, and I think that his dad and sort of his struggle, the fact that he's clearly struggling with his past and with trying to become a better person, and the moral dilemmas that he's having show that there's levels there, and so even if he has done really bad things, that he wants to be a good person, and that alone to me helps connect with him in a way that I'm not sure if I can connect with some of the other parents. That said, I think a lot of the parents are really dynamic actors, and I think especially James Marsters, I'm really excited to see more in this role as Chase's father. It's just such a different role for him, and he's so intense and like disturbing almost, and I can't wait to see more from that character. My one, like, sort of big gripe with the show right now is because it's moving so slowly and we don't really know what's happening, sometimes when we finally get these little bursts of, oh, this is what's really going on, it feels like almost a step too far and a little too silly. So much of the show has been sort of just based in real life, minus people having, cult leaders and stuff like that, that when we suddenly have, like, a dinosaur appear, it just takes me out of it a little bit. I'm like, this is so far out there and crazy that, like, for me, it's a step too far. Everybody has their own levels of what's too far for them. And for me, it might just be the how bad the CGI was of this dinosaur, where I'm like, okay, can't they just be, like, making weird creatures or something? I don't know. Dinosaurs just feel so silly, and like, why are you doing that? But aside from that, I do think that most of the other reveals worked okay. I definitely like the thing with the snow. I think that was really cool. So it really comes down to a personal preference about what is too far out there for you. And I'll be interested to see if any of you agree with me that that's just a little bit too silly given the tone of the show. I don't feel like it's a silly show. It's not like really a comedic show. It is a pretty straightforward teen drama, and bringing in something that out there took me out of it. I'm excited to see some of these mysteries come together and see where we're going to go with these characters. Can't wait for episode 4. Let me know some of your theories in the comments below. Let me know the pluses and minuses of the show. Are you excited? Do you have ships that you love? Please let me know if you like more reacting videos like this. I'm really excited about this show, so I'm super down to do them. Thanks, guys. Bye.